Most people believe that appearance depends on genetics, money, or expensive personal care products. They assume that changing a hairstyle, upgrading a wardrobe, or buying a new skincare set will transform everything. Here is the hard truth. Your appearance is being damaged every single day, not because of your face or your body, but because of your habits. The most dangerous part is that it happens silently. What undermines you does not announce itself. You look in the mirror and see nothing alarming, yet other people feel it immediately. They sense the tension in your presence, the heaviness in your expression, and the restless energy in your eyes. It is subtle and quiet, but silent habits compound over time. Like rust spreading beneath fresh paint, like small cracks forming in a foundation. Eventually, they weaken the entire structure of the person you present to the world. According to Stoic philosophy, your outer presence reflects your inner discipline. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your repeated internal state will imprint itself on your face, your posture, and your energy. The issue is not your bone structure, your height, or even your fashion sense. The real problem is a lack of self-mastery, because when you do not control your inner world, it leaks into your outer one. In this video, I will share 5 silent habits that are eroding your appearance, and the Stoic-based actions you can take to correct them immediately. Listen carefully, because at least one of these habits is already shaping how others perceive you. The first silent habit is constant complaining. It appears harmless, a sigh, a small remark about traffic, the weather, work, or other people. Yet it reshapes your face and your presence over time. It tightens your jaw, lowers your tone, and drains your energy in subtle ways. People who complain do not just sound weak. They begin to look weak, and negativity slowly carves itself into their default expression. From a Stoic perspective, the issue is never external events. As Epictetus taught, we are not disturbed by events themselves, but by our judgments about them. Each complaint reinforces a reaction pattern. Reaction creates tension. Tension becomes chronic, and chronic tension alters your baseline expression. In this way, your face becomes a physical record of your mental habits. The corrective action is simple and deliberate. For the next 24 hours, before complaining about anything, pause for 3 seconds and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, relax your jaw, drop your shoulders, and remain silent. Practice neutrality consistently, because over time neutrality becomes calm, and calm becomes presence. The second habit is the posture of surrender. Rounded shoulders, a slightly lowered head, minimal eye contact. Even in silence, your body communicates hesitation, insecurity, and self-doubt, and people respond to that signal immediately. Posture is not merely bone alignment, it is psychological expression, and when you accept defeat in your mind, even small defeats, your spine reflects it. Stoicism is not detached from the body. It is discipline expressed through action. Your posture both reflects and reinforces your mental state in a continuous cycle. When you stand tall, you breathe deeper. And when you breathe deeper, your nervous system stabilizes and your mind becomes clearer. The body and mind move together under discipline. Straighten your back now, pull your shoulders back, and slightly lift your chin. Then hold this position for 60 seconds without tension. Notice the shift in your breathing and the clarity of your thinking, and repeat this adjustment throughout the day. Within weeks, strong posture becomes your default. and with it, a stronger presence becomes evident. The third habit is emotional overreaction. Quick irritation, defensive responses, and the urge to explain immediately. Each emotional spike creates tension in the body. Facial muscles tighten, gestures become abrupt, and the voice hardens. Reactivity ages you, not only physically, but socially, because it lowers your position in any interaction. Calm, by contrast, preserves authority and keeps you in control. In On Anger, Seneca argues that anger harms the person who carries it more than the one who provokes it. When you allow external triggers to dictate your internal state, you lose composure, and composure is one of the most powerful qualities a person can possess. It signals control, maturity, and strength without display. A composed individual does not need to assert power. It's already evident. The Stoic response is the deliberate pause. When triggered, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, exhale for 6, and remain silent for 10 seconds before responding. Most emotional impulses lose intensity when you refuse to feed them. Silence in that moment is not weakness. It is discipline, and discipline reshapes your presence. The fourth habit is attention fragmentation, largely driven by digital overload. Constant scrolling, jumping between apps, and endless short-form content. Your gaze loses focus, your mind becomes divided, and you remain physically present but mentally absent, which others detect immediately. A certain dullness settles in the eyes when attention is repeatedly stolen. Fragmented attention produces a fragmented presence. Presence requires sustained focus. What you give your attention to shapes who you become, because where attention goes, energy follows. If your energy is scattered across trivial stimuli each day, depth disappears, and without depth, there is no magnetism. Focus restores weight to your presence. The ancient Stoics did not speak of personal magnetism in modern terms, yet their principles describe the same outcome. Inner discipline expressed outwardly. Discipline of attention produces clarity, and clarity strengthens presence in contemporary life. The principle remains consistent across time. The action is direct and practical. Tonight, 1 hour before sleep, put your phone away with no scrolling and no notifications, and allow your body and mind to settle. Read something substantial, sit quietly, or write your thoughts without distraction. 1 disciplined hour each night sharpens your gaze, clarifies your thinking, and strengthens your presence. The fifth habit is physical indiscipline. You do not need to be overweight to fall into it. You simply stop training, muscles weaken, movements slow, and endurance fades. The way you move communicates your standard, because weak movement sends weak signals, while strong, decisive movement communicates strength. Your body is philosophy made visible. Stoicism is often mistaken for passive endurance, yet it demands voluntary discomfort, strength, and resilience. When you train your body consistently, you prove to yourself that you can endure effort without complaint, that self-trust becomes visible in your walk, your handshake, and your eye contact. Strength practiced in private becomes authority displayed in public. Starting tomorrow morning, before touching your phone, do 10 push-ups every day without negotiation. 10 may sound small, but consistency builds identity, and identity builds presence. What you repeat daily defines who you become. I do not say this from theory alone. There was a time when my posture was poor, my patience thin, and my attention scattered, and I believed better clothes would make me look more confident. I looked for external upgrades. But what I truly needed was internal discipline. The shift began when I accepted that responsibility. When I began applying Stoic principles, controlling complaints, correcting posture, practicing emotional pauses, limiting digital noise, and committing to physical training, my presence changed in a steady and measurable way. It did not happen overnight, and it was not dramatic, but it was consistent. Steady discipline produces lasting change. If this feels like too much to change at once, do not attempt to fix everything simultaneously. Systemize it with order and structure. Week 1 is awareness. Track every complaint and correct your posture multiple times a day to build consciousness. Week 2 is control. Practice emotional pauses and reduce screen time, especially before sleep, to reclaim your attention. Week 3 is discipline. Add daily physical training, remain calm under pressure, and reinforce the identity of someone who acts rather than reacts. Small habits repeated daily create visible transformation over time. Your appearance is not an aesthetic issue. It is a character issue, and character can be trained through deliberate action. What you practice consistently becomes who you are. Remember this clearly. Appearance is not just your face. It is character made visible. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and repeated thoughts shape outward form. Choose stronger thoughts and practice disciplined habits without display or noise. Over time, your presence will speak before you do. Stand firm, stay disciplined, and live stoic.